paper, this offseason, it looked like they had a lot of bench depth. I think Tyronn Lue needs to do a better job of figuring out rotations more. But I feel like they also need a sixth man that really keeps the level of play from when some of the starters come out.
This team looked clunky. They looked clunky last year, and they made some moves in the offseason. They got Serge Ibaka. I really like that move. They got Luke Kennard. They try to add some depth on their team. It helped them a little bit. They got they brought in Nick Batum. He's been playing pretty well for them, but I don't think they're utilizing all their pieces well. To me, I don't see what emphasis and what difference is really Ty Lue really making on this offense. That's number one. Welcome to Leave It on the Court, guys. Your boy Mustafa, and I'm here with Corey Randall.
What's going on, guys?
So today, the topic of our discussion is, should the Clippers be concerned with Kawhi leaving the Clippers in the offseason? And what are some of the concerns that we're seeing with the team currently? So I'm going to let you take it over. I'm going to let you blaze the trail. So do you feel that Kawhi Leonard will stay in the choose to stay if they don't win a championship, or do you see him leaving?
I think that there's a chance that, obviously he could leave, but it would also be dependent on, I think, what kind of moves. Well, we got to see what happens at the trade deadline here now, but what in the offseason, like what kind of moves are being made, because in the offseason, they can make a big move to kind of make him want to stay and be like, okay, I'll give it another chance. But there is a good chance that he definitely could leave because he came here to win. He came here, wanting Paul George to join forces here to win. And, just off of last season, after having that whole blunder of, being up 3-1 and losing to the Nuggets, this season is kind of redemption for them to come back and be a contender.
So, okay, you said that there would have to be a big move made in the offseason in the scenario that they lose a championship. So do you have any examples of what would be a big move that would entice him?
Getting a real elite point guard. That would be the first move. And on paper, this offseason, it looked like they had a lot of bench depth. I think Tyronn Lue needs to do a better job of figuring out rotations more. But I feel like they also need a sixth man that really keeps the level of play from when some of the starters come out. And I don't feel like they have that guy. It's kind of inconsistent with who's that guy, whether it's Lou Williams, whether it's going to be Luke Kennard, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Lou has been very inconsistent this year. That's been a major concern for them. I think the main thing is, I would be concerned if I'm them, to be honest. I would, because this team looked clunky. They looked clunky last year, and they made some moves in the offseason. They got Serge Ibaka. I really like that move. They got Luke Kennard. They try to add some depth on their team. It helped them a little bit. They got they brought in Nick Batum. He's been playing pretty well for them, but I don't think they're utilizing all their pieces well. To me, I don't see what emphasis and what difference is really Ty Lue really making on this offense. That's number one.
Correct.
Two, there's a glaring issue at the point guard that they have not addressed, and the trade deadline, we got a few more days until the trade deadline hits, so hopefully they do make a move there. We see that they're currently trying to make fine routes for Lonzo Ball, but at the same token, the Pelicans are gonna have other suitors, so that's left to be seen. But they don't move the ball well enough. So we know that's a byproduct of the point guard. They've been wildly inconsistent with defense. They've won games, they've lost 3. They win 2 games, they lose 1. It's like they've been very up and down. They had injuries, but I feel like they could have been a lot better. I don't know what you're seeing. So what are your concerns with that being said, like from Kawhi's perspective?
I mean, from Kawhi's perspective, especially after when they got blown out, like that 20-piece against the Pelicans, at that point they had lost like 6 out of 9 games, and Kawhi, Kawhi said, great teams are consistent. Great teams are consistent on both ends of the floor. They bring their A game every game. They show a lot of effort.
Oh yeah.
And there are a lot of games where it's like you look at the Clippers and you're like, man, like these dudes. I remember earlier in the season I was saying to myself, I was like, these dudes look unstoppable. And then you see other games where you're just like, you're losing to the Wizards. The Wizards are a pretty good offensive team, but their defense is horrendous. But like, you're losing to some of these other teams that you're better than and that you claim to be better than, and you're not playing like it. And then in their last 10 games, their record's 4-6. Like when you have a team like Kawhi is improved as a passer, but you can't have a team with him like being the lead guy for all the things, the scoring, the passing, and the best, defensive, perimeter defensive player. Like, I don't know what your take is exactly on what you're seeing, but this is what I'm seeing with this team. And it's just like, it's just too inconsistent.
So yeah, you say inconsistent. So what are they being inconsistent? Like, where on the floor are they being inconsistent? To be honest,
I think one of the things is rotations. You look at injuries, you look at different things. So I mean, you have several games where Luke Kennard doesn't play, and you have Pat Bev who's out a lot of the time, and you have Reggie Jackson, and then you got to throw in Terrence Mann in there, and then now you have a Coffee playing, and it's just having a solidified rotation. That's first and foremost. When you got a solidified rotation, that's where chemistry is built. That's what happened. That's what messed up the Clippers last season. All that load management with Kawhi and PG and all that kind of stuff. And then Pat Bev was missing games. When you have all these guys in and out of the lineup, the chemistry just is not there.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, something I would like to add is they just need an identity. For a team that good, they have to have more of an identity of what they want to do game in and game out. They don't have too much of an identity. That's the reason why you see a lot of this inconsistency. So a lot of times when you're watching Kawhi, you're watching PG, it's like if they don't play well, the team doesn't do well. And I don't think they've used, since Marcus Morris came on this team, they never utilized him well. It's like, I don't get it. You get a guy that was averaging 19 points a game playing for the Knicks, shooting 40%. Granted, it was a Knicks team that wasn't really that good last season, but this is a guy that's capable of still doing these things. Like, get him the ball, move the ball more. You have pieces on your team. It shouldn't be because this guy's out, that guy's out, this guy's out. Is the reason why you guys still, the reason why the Clippers are still playing inconsistent. They have to have an identity, what they want to do on offense and what they want to do on defense. This defense, they don't look that great either.
Yeah, no, they don't look that great there. And also, Serge Ibaka's missed the last 2 games, even though Clippers went split 1-1 in those last 2 games. Then he got hurt against Pelicans, which is huge because, being a shot blocker, floor spacer, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not sure if I like the move of putting Batum off the bench, because I feel like Batum was flourishing as a starter with space in the floor, and he's a versatile defender of being at 6'8". So like I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that move for him coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, their bench, I don't know, it's like they got a lot of pieces, but they're not getting good minutes off the bench. That's the thing. And that's why you see a lot of times staggering with, Kawhi. When Kawhi's, when the bench comes in, Kawhi's in the game or PG's in the game. And, they play through these players often. So that's like I talked about earlier, ball movement. They don't have enough of it because it's like he has to really, shoulder a lot. But at the same time, like, the point guard issues hurting them. And Lou Williams has not played well at all this season and played well in the bubble. So I don't know. They got to make some moves happen.
Yeah, I mean, I know you touched on Lonzo Ball. They are going to have a lot of suitors, and they're going to be looking for assets. The only thing Clippers could really do is if they could give some future picks and like some cheap expiring contracts like Lou Williams and stuff. But they could also look at, someone like Rondo. I mean, Rondo is still, really good point guard. He's a leader. He can still defend, and he's an elite playmaker, and he's improved shooting. I mean, this year he's shooting, 38.5% from three. And that's somebody they could look at. Too bad they can't get Kyle Lowry because they just not interested in Kyle Lowry's contract. So
yeah, we've also heard about John Wall, but it's like, I mean, if you're gonna look at John Wall, you might as well look at Kyle Lowry. I mean, because you're getting somebody who already won a chip, and he has the chemistry with Serge Ibaka. He has the chemistry with Kawhi Leonard, and he has the leadership quality. They need that desperately in that locker room. They need a player that's a leader. You get Lonzo Ball, he's a great player, he's improved, he has all the tangibles, but as a leader, he's a very quiet guy. I don't know if he's singing the leadership song for me right now for that team. So, he could be a great piece, but leadership has been a question for them this year and last year.
Yeah, no, that's definitely been it. I was just looking at even like the minutes. Like last game, PG I think played like 41 minutes. Kawhi playing damn near 40. It's like, you're gonna do that, these dudes are gonna get burned out, and then it's gonna be easy for them to get exposed when the playoffs come around. The Western Conference is looking kind of crazy right now.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, that wraps up this segment, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Love to hear your opinions. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment, and catch us on the next one.
Peace.
Deuces.